Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So today we're back out on the training pitch. I'm here with Omar. Even though these drills are actually individual drills, we're here to motivate one another to make sure we're working as hard as possible. But for you guys out there who aren't fortunate enough to train with a legend like Omar, you can actually still perform all of these drills completely by yourself. So today's focus is all about explosive speed on and off the ball. So each of these drills we're going to do some repetitions without the ball and also some with the ball, because it's very important to have both of those attributes. You're not on the ball for 90 minutes of the game, you're only on it for a small portion of it, and the majority of the game you're actually making off the ball movements. But you need to be making sure you're fast on the ball as well, so that's why we incorporate both into our training session. So it's going to be a really good session today. It's going to be a lot of hard work, but we're very excited for it. So we began the training session as we always do with a good thorough 10-minute warm-up, getting lots of dynamic movements and stretches. Make sure you are putting aside at least 10 minutes to warm up to prepare your bodies. There is nothing worse than getting an injury as a result of poor preparation. Even though there are injuries in the middle of a match that maybe can't be avoided, when it comes to muscle strains and tears and things like that, you can massively prevent that by doing a good thorough warm-up. Then we got into a more dynamic and explosive part of the warm-up as well. So what we're doing is we're going on single leg through the hurdles, landing on one foot, but we're actually sticking the landing for a second. So we're not just bounding through quickly, we're landing for a second, just working on that stability, making sure we're getting a good thorough base so that we're working on a bit of balance as well. Putting in that leg under a little bit of tension and then exploding off through the gate. So we're not going to full pace this time, probably about 90%, but just taking our warm-up to the next level, because this training session is all about explosive speed. So we want to make sure those fast twitch fibers and all the muscle fibers are nice and warm, because in explosive movements, that's when you're most likely to get injuries if you haven't warmed up thoroughly. So we went through this probably 3 times on each leg individually, and then we incorporated the ball as well, because we will be incorporating the ball in each of our drills today. So we're going to make sure we're explosive off the ball, but also with the ball as well. So we just land beside that ball, and then we push it off with the opposite foot, really exploding off one leg at a time. Then we went into a very simple diagonal drill. So what we're doing is going through it without the ball. So we've just randomly put the cones down. It's not a specific measurement between each one, but a good enough distance. We're opening it up a bit so that we have to get up to top speed between the cones and then slow down our speed very abruptly to get around those tight corners. So this is a very important skill to have, to be able to change direction, to accelerate and decelerate quickly. These kind of movements are going to really take your game to the next level if you can be sharp and efficient with each of them. So we went through it 3 times without the ball each, just making sure we're working on that explosive movement off the ball, as we will be doing, because these are going to really help all of you attacking players who are trying to make checking movements off the ball to create space, and maybe you're darting through on goal. Then we worked on it with the ball as well, trying to take a touch of the ball with every step. So we're trying to be quick with the ball, but also keeping it very close to the body with really tight control. You don't want to be kicking the ball too far into the space unless the option is on. You always want to be keeping the ball close to the body so that you can change direction at any moment. So especially with this drill, with all the tight corners, if you can keep the ball close to your body, you're going to be a lot more efficient going around those corners, and you'll get through the course a lot quicker. So this is a great skill to master. As you can see, trying to take a touch of the ball with every step. We call this one the nudge. So we're just using the area just above the little toe to take soft touches of the ball, lower our center of gravity so we're still nice and agile, and we're also balanced at the same time. So then again, we went through this one 4 times with the ball each. Then we went into a speed and agility drill. So we've set up this course here. We've got a square in the middle with 4 gates, and the objective is to get through those 4 gates as quickly as possible and back to the center square. So the course is completely to the player's choice. So you're going through it exactly how you want to do it. So you're tailoring it, and you're going to go through it differently each time to see which route is the quickest. So you can go with the outside turn, you can choose each gate, but you just got to make sure you hit all 4 gates before getting back to the middle. So this is a fun one to experiment with, and you'll see the difference between going through the course using inside turns and going through the course using outside turns. Usually when you're turning to the outside, it's a bit more natural on the body, so you'll feel a bit quicker through the course, but it's definitely good to incorporate those inside turns as well, because there will be moments during a match where you will have to execute that. Then we did the exact same drill, but what we're doing now is racing against each other, so we only have to get through 2 gates and then back to the square. So adding a bit of competition just takes the training to the next level. And we were very competitive with it. This one was very close. I think this was an exact draw, which was really good. That just shows we're pushing each other. So we went again because we weren't sure who won that one. And I think I just got Omar on this one. I think my foot just gets in the box before his. But that really takes these agility drills to a new level when you're trying to compete against somebody else. So if you can ever have the opportunity to train with somebody else when you're doing the speed, make sure you add a competitive element to it. That's just going to make you work harder and you're going to get more benefits from the training session. Then we did the exact same thing with the ball. So as I mentioned at the start, we're doing each drill with and without the ball. You want to be tight around those corners without the ball when you're making those sharp, abrupt changes of direction, but also with the ball as well, because you might need to change direction sharply at any moment if a defender's coming in and you need to retain the ball. So again, experimenting through the course, finding which route is the quickest, using some inside turns, some outside turns, and we generally found that when we use outside turns, it's much easier to get through the course. So I think this was my quickest run because I used outside turns through each gate. It's just a lot more natural because you've already got the ball on the outside of the boot, because that's the area we try to dribble with. So when you're turning, it's already in that position, so it becomes a lot more fluent.
Well done, you're covered.
Then after about a minute or 2 of rest, we went straight into the next drill, which is the 7 MLC Speed Challenge. So I'll put a link on the screen right now if you want to go over to the video which teaches you how to set this one up. I really like this one because it involves both off the ball movement and on the ball movement within the same drill, so you don't need to work on each one independently. So you're starting up at the gate without the ball, it's an acceleration to collect it, then you're going out to either side with the ball, turning around that cone sharply, back to the gate where you collected the ball, and then out to the opposite side, and then you get around that cone, return to the starting gate where you began, getting through those cones, and then you're finishing on goal. So it's a bit of a speed endurance one as well this time, so it's a longer course than some of the previous exercises we worked on, so it's a good way to add a bit of fitness into your session as well, because not only is it important to be fast off the mark, but you need to be able to maintain that speed at some points as well. So it really works on that, and adding a technical element into the end of the drill, so finishing on goal, that's really important as well, because if you can still perform technically even when your legs are heavy and under fatigue, you're going to be a far more effective player. Think about the last 10 minutes of the game when you're very tired but your team needs a goal. Are you going to be the one that steps up and still have discipline in your shooting technique to beat the keeper? So in total, we went through this drill 3 times. We went out to the right side on our first one, out to the left on our second, so that we got a rep with our left foot, and then we finish out on our right foot as well, because we've got a lot of reps in today, but we still have one more drill to go at the end, which is adding a bit of more of a competitive element to it. So we wanted to make sure we were still fresh and sharp in order to attack that last drill as well. So really fatiguing the muscles, getting a lot of touches on the ball while working on our fitness, so disguising that fitness work. Then we went into one final drill, even though both of our legs were so heavy at this point. We'd put in a lot of work today, but we just wanted to work on a bit of 1v1 attacking and defending. So Omar's a central defensive midfielder, and I'm an attacking player, so I was working on my dribbling. Omar's working on his defending. So basically what Omar has to do is defend the 3 balls within that square, and I'm trying to unbalance him and find a gap so I can knock the ball off the cones. So I'm trying to get 2 balls knocked off, because obviously if we've knocked off 2, then he would only have to defend 1 ball and he could just stand in front of it, so we didn't see much point in doing all 3, but it's basically the first to 2. So if he defends me twice, he wins. If I get 2 balls off, he wins. So that's just a way to stay competitive, working on your dribbling as well, even when the legs are very fatigued. As you can see right there, Omar's legs are absolutely gone at this point. Mine are as well. We're not as explosive as we were at the start of the session, but we still wanted to put some extra work in, work on some technical ability while adding a competitive element to it. I think if we didn't have the competitive element in this drill, we would have given up by now, because we were very fatigued at this point. But it's a fun drill to try with your mates if you can train with somebody, but if not, you can just go around the square, knocking the balls off and back to the start. What do you think, Omar? Good session?
Great session.
We are absolutely dripping. As you can see, adding a lot more fitness into our sessions now. It's a lot of continuous work, very explosive work. but the distances with the sprints that we're doing now are a lot longer than what we were doing previously, because now we're training for outdoor season. We've just been training indoor season for the last few months, and indoors about those really short, sharp, explosive movements. The sprints are really short, maybe 10 yards maximum, probably not much more than that. But in outdoor, the sprints are more like 20 to 30 yards, so really trying to lengthen out the sprints. But that's going to be it for today's session. As I mentioned, all of those drills can be performed individually, maybe apart from that last one, unless you want to just dribble around the box and knock the balls off and then get back to the gate as quickly as possible. But pretty much every single one of those drills can be adapted so you guys can work on it individually as well. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe button for weekly training videos, and I will see you guys in the next video.